sees my own silhouette. I'm getting stronger, step by step. The clock is ticking, but there's no time for regrets. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes like a dynamite, ready to explode right up in the sky. I'm walking alone, the streets are empty. The only thing I can see is my own silhouette. I'm getting stronger, step by step. The clock is ticking, but there's no time for regrets. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes Feel like a dynamite, ready to explode right up in the sky.
What is up, everyone? Welcome to the FPL Gameweek 21 deadline stream. My name is Ryan, and welcome to the football chatbox. So, Game Week 21, we are live. I've done one transfer move, which is Cancelo out for Aria. But before that, let's actually get into how the Game Week 20 went. Overall, I think it was quite a bit of a disappointment given the amount of players I had. Even though we did end up on a green arrow, wasn't really a green arrow, it was like a grey arrow. But overall, I think a bit disappointing in terms of Martial, Cancelo, De Bruyne also very disappointing. So very disappointing in those players, but it is what it is. We move. So we're going into Game Week 21. I've made one transfer already. I'm going to be doing another one as well, which is I want to get in Martin Odegaard. And we're going to get Odegaard in. So Andreas to Odegaard is my next move. Player 352 with Martial on the bench. And having said that, Ruhil, welcome. How are you doing? How's your week been? How was Game Week 20? I was waiting for your stream. Sweet, thank you. Sorry for the delay. Unfortunately, I got slightly late, but we are live now. What's up, Chatbox? I am doing well. How are you doing? Now, in terms of teams, actually, what I want to know is also who people are captaining. Where can we put a poll? Got 72 points. Oh, that's not too bad. I think that's pretty decent. I got 70. Very similar point return. And VL, how are you doing as well? How's your day been? Alright, let's start a poll. Actually, What is this? There's another option. Start a Q&A. What is a Q&A? Oh well. I got 86 from VL. Damn, that's pretty good. 86 is pretty good return. Did you have either Mahrez or Fernandes, or was it like something else different? Let's see who people's captain are. Poll is up. Kulusevski finally returned. That makes sense. Fair enough. I had Tony, Kulusevski, and Captain Rashford. Oh, look at that VL. What a move. I've been thinking to double up on Newcastle defense. That's not a bad move, actually, to be honest. Newcastle defense isn't a bad move to be doing right now. I mean, I'm aware that there is a potential for a blank. Yes, that's right. But it's still a pretty good option. Again, double up on Newcastle defense isn't a bad move, depending on how many United and Newcastle players you have in total as well. Just want to probably keep that in mind as well. But to be honest, it's not a bad move to do. Because if you look at like defenses elsewhere, it's like we're not really sure what to do, like in terms of like who else you'd probably get. Now, I also was thinking of doubling up on Newcastle defense, to be honest, but I instead decided to go against it and went for Aurier instead. So that I can because otherwise I would end up with six players, that is triple United and triple Newcastle. I didn't really want that going into game week 25. So I wanted to didn't want to get into that. So that's why I went to Aurier. Now, Aurier could have a blank as well, but then if Aurier has a blank, that means my United assets don't have a blank. So it's kind of offsetting over there, which is completely fine. And also, their game week 25 is against West Ham. At this moment, to be honest, it isn't a bad fixture to have. But yeah, so that's kind of where I've gone. I've just gone mainly for the shorter term fixtures, look pretty decent, especially Leeds and Bournemouth. That's kind of why I've gone there. I'm worried about the 25 blank. Yeah, so just you might want to kind of think about your moves slowly. Don't be too worried about it, I'll tell you that. If you can get 11 players out with a hit in 25, that's not a bad idea. Don't be too worried, because then you might potentially be like, oh, you might skip out on points that are nearby by trying to be too focused on 25 as well. So kind of keep that in mind. Just look at what moves you'll be doing for the next couple of weeks. Obviously, if you are in a position to roll a transfer, I would recommend rolling a transfer this week. But first, I would recommend trying to fix any fires you have. So I had Cancelo as a problem, and I was like, I might as well just get rid of him, and I did that. So if you have a Cancelo or Foden, I probably just get rid of them first before rolling a transfer, because at the price points there, I feel like you're missing out on other points by just having these guys in, and they're just returning 1 point instead. So might as well just get rid of them. And then if you have a Martial as well, I don't actually know what to do with Martial at this point. I think I'm going to get rid of Martial. It's just not this week I'll get rid of him. This week I'll bench him. What I'm going to do is I'm going to move Andres out to get in Odegaard. Initially I was thinking of Almiron to Odegaard. But then the Crystal Palace fixture is still pretty decent. So, and Martial, again, if I moved Almiron to Odegaard, then I have to play either 3-4-3 or play Shaw instead as well. And I'm not sure if United can keep a clean sheet. So I'd rather play a 3-5-2 with Andreas out and Odegaard in. That's kind of my thinking process right now with regards to moves. So actually, let's probably do that. So this is what I was thinking of doing. So if I did something like this, I would have 0.8 in the bank. And then for game week 22, my moves were going to be Martial out and KDB out. KDB will go to Bruno Fernandes, assuming Bruno Fernandes is fit and nothing happens between now and the game week 22. And Martial will go to the Leeds player, as it seems like Leeds are potentially likely to double. And he will go to this Leeds forward. Wilfred Gnonto? Anyways. him basically. Obviously, I'll have to kind of monitor his minutes, see how he actually does against Brentford, because Forest fixture is still pretty good, and then obviously they have the 22 double against United at the moment as well. So that's kind of the moves that I'm thinking in terms of trying to bring players in. Amit, how are you doing? Hope everything is good. Nice to come on time. Fair enough. I'm welcome. And how was your game week 20? I'm afraid Cancelo will start versus Wolves since he was rested and it's fast turnaround from the last game. The thing is, like, it's very hard to tell whether Cancelo was actually rested or was Cancelo actually benched. Now, there were comments from Pep where he was questioning some of his players' motivation in terms of mentality, motivation. They're too comfortable and all of that. So that kind of makes me think like maybe it's not really worth it. Like, I don't know whether he'll play or not. I just, at this point, I don't want to play Pep Roulette with the City lads. And I'm like, yeah, I'll just probably get rid of Cancelo instead. Abdurrahman, how are you doing? Mitro 2. How do you pronounce his name? It's supposed to be Noki, but Noto? I don't know. I need to figure out how to pronounce his name. What do you think about this? It's a pretty good move at the moment. I don't mind it, to be honest. Mitro is not a bad option as well to keep, but if you want to get the Leeds player, because he should be a pretty decent option. He scored in the cup. He scored 2 goals as well. So I don't mind it, especially for the price point. You're not going to start him always as well. So it's not a bad move to make. Fulham, in terms of Fulham, what are Fulham's fixtures like? Let's just have a look. Oops, wrong team. Fulham's fixtures are 25. They have a game. Wolves, yeah. Tottenham, Chelsea, yeah. It's not a bad move to actually make. Because they have 21, Tottenham and Chelsea. And then Forest, Brighton. Brighton will be tough one as well. So yeah, actually, I don't mind that move, to be honest. Abdul Rahman. Go ahead. Can you help me with my team? Suggest some moves. 0.0 in the bank, 2 free transfer, 15 in the league. Let's have a look, shall we? Let me make this transfer first of all. Alright, so I'm basically taking a -4, and I'm happy to take that -4, to be honest. Just to get a better team, and also obviously get closer to a team that I like. Fix fires. I'm prioritizing fixing fires in my team compared to actually this thing. Let me put Martial ahead of Shaw, just because, prefer the attacking player at the moment. Although I do expect everyone to start here. Now, let's have a look at Amit's team. Judging by how much Spurs and Chelsea concede, I will keep Mitro. That's also not a bad idea, to be honest. Also, the other thing I would say is Spurs are quite weak down the middle, so it's not a bad move to try and keep Mitro as well. Now, 15. Amit. Alright. 0.0 in the bank. I'm guessing you start Saliba instead of Cancelo. But then you have Bueno, and you probably don't really want to start Bueno instead of ahead of City. So then you could potentially start Cancelo if you wanted to. Or you could go for double Newcastle defense, but then you have to kind of be careful with regards to game week 25. You have the Patterson issue as well, which you need to kind of solve. So your priority should be trying to figure out what you're going to do for game week 25 in terms of trying to get 11 out as well. Kind of think about that as well. 0.0 in the bank, and you didn't make a transfer in game week 20, so you have 2 free transfers, right? Which means you can make 1 transfer and then roll the next one. Chawal Mahrez captain, that's not a bad shout. Against Wolves, not a bad shout. So Amit, you could probably make 1 free transfer, right? And then roll the next one. In this specific situation, I don't mind actually rolling Cancelo. If you wanted a City cover, roll it to Stones and then get the rest of the money in the bank, like the 2 million or something in the bank. So like Cancelo to Stones and then 2 million in the bank. And then with that 2 million, you can probably look towards upgrading Patterson if you wanted to. For game week 22, you could probably bring in Shaw next week. If you wanted to target that double, that's a possibility that you could probably do. But yeah, the rest I like. Like I like your midfield. Like Salah is the only problem right now. But then this fixture, the way Chelsea are defending, I don't mind keeping Salah, to be honest. So Salah is not a bad option to keep for the moment. And then obviously your front line is fine. Bueno, I think Saliba instead of Bueno, and then Cancelo to Stones, and then Stones play. Something like that. It's probably something I don't mind doing. In terms of defense, we can have a look in terms of expected points as well. Arsenal and interestingly, Liverpool defense is up here, but I wouldn't trust Liverpool defense at the moment. I know the fixtures after the Chelsea game are pretty decent, but I still don't trust Liverpool defense. I don't know about this Cancelo, this thing. It's very dodgy. I kind of like prefer Stones at the moment, to be honest, especially for the price point. At least 1.5 million savings. Planning to do Patterson to Lewis and carry forward one free transfer. Oh, you can do Patterson to Lewis, no? Oh, yes, you could. Actually, that's not a bad idea. To be honest, that's actually not a bad idea. The only thing is, with and play Cancelo and Lewis and Trippier and for sub Saliba. That's not a bad... Oh, because Lewis is competing with Kyle Walker. I mean, it's not a... I wouldn't call that a bad move. It's just that Lewis is slightly rotation prone. So he's also a bit of a rotation risk. But at this moment, he seems to be more in favor of Pep Guardiola compared to maybe Kyle Walker. So maybe it's not a completely bad idea. It just locks you out of a City spot if Lewis does get like rotation risk. But for the moment, it seems like he's the more favored option. So that's a decent move, but just kind of keep that there's a risk with it. But then there's a risk with keeping Cancelo as well, because Cancelo at this point is more prone to the bench than actually starting games. But yeah, you could do that if you wanted to. I would probably expect Lewis to start against Wolves. What am I looking at in terms of this thing? Alright, so this is the team 3-5-2. Ashia first sub, Shaw second sub, Bueno third sub, Sanchez instead of Kepa. Thanks a lot, Ryan. Any love for West Ham versus Everton? To be honest, not really. Mainly because of the form of both teams. Everton are in complete shambles, and West Ham are also in probably complete shambles. At this point, both teams are unfortunately in relegation form. So I probably would just skip that game completely. So no real love towards that game. Rian, how are you doing? Who would you play? Shea Adams at home to Aston Villa or Mitro home to Spurs? Mitro home to Spurs, to be honest. Mainly because the way Spurs are defending right now, just like what VL mentioned, it's not a bad option to try and give Mitro against Spurs, because there is a chance that the chances of Spurs keeping a clean sheet are very low at this point, just based on how they're defending. And given that Fulham actually play well at home, it's not a bad thing to actually keep him. Alright. Shubhar, how are you doing? I am doing fine. Thank you for asking. How are you? How are you? This is what the team's looking like. -4 taken. -4 taken. But I'm alright with the -4 that I've taken. So we'll see how this team performs actually. We'll be very interested to see how it goes. And then benching headache. I know a lot of people are on a benching headache. Team ID is 81233. 81233. And let me have a look. Alright, Abdul Rahman's team headache. Actually, benching headache. Is your benching headache between Shaw and White? Probably between those two, right? If it's between those two, at the moment, I am slightly leaning towards Ben White just because of the home team. So I'm leaning towards Ben White just because he's in the home team, and also I wouldn't put it past Ben White to maybe get like subbed off like the 70th minute again with a clean sheet intact. Won't put it really past him. So leaning slightly towards Ben White, but at the same time, I'll just mention Luke Shaw. Out of the two players, Luke Shaw has the highest ceiling in terms of potential points. But it's just that Ben White has a higher chance of getting a clean sheet than Luke Shaw. Mount to Odegaard, 1 free transfer versus start Shaw. Do the Mount to Odegaard. I actually don't mind the Mount to Odegaard. I think Odegaard going forward is someone you would want to have anyways. So I like that move, Shubharan. I've also got Odegaard in, so I actually don't mind that. And yeah, I'm probably leaning towards Ben White. Starting Ben White over Shaw. At least that's what I've done. I've gone and started Ben White over Shaw at the moment. Mitro to Antonio or Ings. Oh, isn't Watkins injured, if I'm not mistaken? And Ings looks like he's going to be moving, right? There are like transfer rumors around Ings. So I probably wouldn't target Ings as well at the moment. And Almiron to Benrahma or Solly March. Solly March is not a bad idea. Almiron to March isn't too bad of an idea. But having said that, didn't you... Where is it? Yeah, Almiron to March is not a bad idea. You could... The thing is again... you could also move Almiron to... Again, I don't know if you want to do this. It depends on your budget, or you don't have budget. Sad life. Yeah, so Almiron to March is actually not a bad idea. Based on your budget level. Or even Mitoma. To be honest, Almiron to Mitoma is also not too bad. I do like Mitoma, and the positions Mitoma was getting in for Brighton. Very decent positions. Now, I know Solly March has obviously got more of the points compared to Mitoma. But Mitoma was getting into pretty good positions for Brighton. So he's also not a bad not a bad player, especially for the price point. But keep in mind, Brighton also have the potential of a blank. My dilemma is move for Odegaard this game week or roll for third United in double game week 22. Oh. Depends on who your current United players are. I am assuming your current two players are Shaw and Rashford. I don't mind trying to get that third United player. Assuming that third United player is, if it's Bruno, then I don't mind rolling if you wanted to. That's also, if you want to do that, you can probably do that as well. Should I bench Ake? Oh. Where is your team? Let's go back to your team. Should you bench Ake? No, I think Ake will actually play. And against Wolves, it's not a bad... the Wolves are struggling to score. I know they've signed Sarabia recently, but Bulls are kind of like struggling. I mean, they don't really score as much. Obviously, they scored against Villa, but against the bigger teams, they don't really score per se. So I don't mind starting Ake and seeing whether he plays. Man United bias kicking in. Yeah, that's true. But then, do you think we keep a clean sheet against Arsenal without Casemiro? I don't. I think we'll give a good game to Arsenal. To be honest, I think it will be a really good game. And the thing is, I just see both teams kind of scoring. That's the only thing. It's a very tough call, to be honest. You could potentially start both White and Shaw as well, and bench Ake. But it's just that Ake against Wolves, if he does start, it's a high chance of a clean sheet. Mount to Bruno next game week versus Mount to... Oh, okay. So that's your question, Shubhan. I would then do Mount to Bruno for next game week. I'll probably do that instead. Mount to Bruno. So then maybe roll the transfer and then see how it goes, because things could potentially happen. Now there is a very... I would recommend rolling transfer if you could roll a transfer. But if you're in situations where you have the likes of Foden, Cancelo, then I would probably recommend getting rid of them first, for anyone who has that. But if you don't have those problems, then I would probably just roll a transfer. Because you could have potential injuries and whatnot in the cup games as well. FA Cup and obviously the League Cup also, semi-finals. So maybe roll and then see how it goes, I guess. But I like Odegaard as well as an option, to be honest. And I think Odegaard, by the time it comes to game week 23, Odegaard will be a very well-owned player. So you could potentially roll to Bruno and then from Bruno to Odegaard as well. So that's another move you could probably try and do. Captain Haaland. I am captain in Haaland, yes. I think Haaland is still a pretty good captaincy option. But I would, for this specific game week, I would make sure your vice captain is also someone you know who's going to play. And a good vice captain. Just in case. Because at the moment, it's so hard to predict Pep that we don't know what's going to happen, what Pep is going to do. I think your guess is as good as mine in terms of who is going to play for Manchester City. So, yeah. Probably Captain Haaland. Also, people, make sure to hit the like button if you are here. Can you have a look at my team? Rank 16 in League. -8 was May. Let's have a look. -8 was May. What did you do for the -8? Well, I'm guessing, okay, so the Mount is that move, right? Mount is the first move to do. Everyone else is actually a pretty good shout. Here's another thing, right? I am not against this move, but I'll tell you what Okay, I'll show you my team and I'll tell you what. Now, I want Bruno Fernandes for Game Week 22. I am not against moving KDB to Bruno and then back to KDB if you wanted. I'm not against that move as well, because I think because next week, obviously, KDB against Spurs. I mean, based on how we saw Spurs perform, KDB could get points, also get benched at this point, to be honest. So I'm not against doing KDB to Bruno for Game Week 22 as well, and then back to KDB if you wanted. That's a possibility you could probably do. Or you could just go Mount to Bruno and then have KDB next week as well. That's another. I mean, you could. Those are a couple moves you can probably do. Or you could do Mount to Odegaard this week and then KDB to Bruno next week. Apart from that, the rest of your team is pretty decent. If you wanted Greenwood to Noto, but then that might be bench value issues, so that's probably not possible as well. Oh no, you'll have enough money in the bank once you do to Odegaard. So that's another move you could probably try doing ahead of Game Week 22. But yeah, apart from that, the team looks actually pretty solid. I don't see any other problems with the team. Bora, how are you doing? Welcome. Hello, namaste. Apparently, double game week 22 isn't confirmed. It isn't. Oh, well, here's the thing. Double game week 22 won't happen if either one of the teams, I think, requires what do you call a replay. So if either United or Leeds require a replay in the FA Cup, then double game week 22 won't happen. Yeah, just like Ria mentioned, double game week for Leeds and United only happens if they don't get an FA Cup replay. Now, if I'm not mistaken, United are playing Reading in the FA Cup. If I'm not mistaken, yes. Let me have a look and see. So United play Reading in the FA Cup, and Leeds play. Okay, Leeds will play either one of Accrington Stanley or Boreham Wood. One of them, by the looks of it. And I would probably expect Leeds to win that game between either Accrington Stanley or Boreham Wood. So the chances of that double game week 22 not happening is very low. That's the thing. Can you check my team in the league? 103rd. I did Walker out for Dan Burn and Mount for Saka. Not a bad move. Let's have a look. Shubharan, hopefully what I mentioned is alright. Let me know in the comments. And let's have a look at Rian's team. Okay, so you did Walker out for Dan Burn, and you did Mount for Saka. Kulusevski, look at this big, massive return, 11-pointer. Nice. Yeah. Apart from that, I mean, everything else, the rest of the team is fine. Yeah. Rest of the team is fine for the moment. I'm assuming you're starting Sanchez this time. Sanchez ahead of Ward, probably. I'll probably do that. And then the rest of the team looks pretty good. Stinker of a bench for game week 20. Yeah, that was unlucky. 9, 16. Oh. Whew. Huge bench boost points. It is what it is. What to do? I mean, if you look at it, right? If you look at it back, who would you actually started? Who did Chelsea play? Crystal Palace. Who did? See, I would have probably still played the same 11. Maybe Shea Adams. Or who really? Maybe Shea Adams over Mount, probably. But like the rest kind of made sense. Like what you did made sense. It's just unlucky that it happened to be like that. But the rest of your team looks pretty fine. The KDB to Bruno is still an option in case there's an injury problem. Pep rotation. Odegaard has to come sooner rather than later. Yes, I agree, Shubharan. I agree with that. Starting Sanchez. Yep, Sanchez over Kepa this game week. Yes, I have gone for Sanchez over Kepa because Chelsea defensively, I know Liverpool are struggling to score, but to be honest, Chelsea are struggling to defend as well. So I don't mind taking that. There is the possibility that Chelsea somehow keep a clean sheet and Kepa actually gets another 10-pointer. That's a possibility just because of how poor Liverpool are as well at the moment. But at the moment, I think Sanchez over Kepa kind of makes sense. Should I start Chevy? Welcome to the Football Chatbox. Should I start Tony or McAllister away to Leicester? I'd probably start Tony at the moment. Because I think Brentford versus Leeds, there are goals in there. Leicester are a slightly harder team to play compared to maybe Leeds, maybe. So probably start Tony. And also Tony has penalties, right? McAllister does have set pieces, but I'd probably start... Oh no, what happened, Amit? Oh, why did you this thing? Okay, Okay. I don't know why you were... Amit, don't worry. I can see your deleted message. I can see your deleted message. Now, I think it's probably because the message was quite long with lots of dots. So Stream Elements, the bot actually timed you out. But I can see your message, don't worry. Chevy, I would probably start Tony. Just because he has penalties and Leeds also not a bad fixture. And I think in the last fixture against Leeds, he also did pretty well. 22 points on the bench in Game Week 20. Yeah, I think I had the same amount. It's a shame. What to do? Yeah, any other week would have been a pretty good bench boost. Chip to play that week, but it is what it is. Start Ward or Kepa. Kepa. I think you never know. There is a possibility that Chelsea keep a clean sheet. Kepa makes a load of saves and he gets a high this thing. So I don't mind actually starting Kepa in this specific situation. Whom to start? Same question from Amit. Kepa or Ward? Did Patterson to Luis. Final team: Kepa, Cancelo, Trippier, Luis, Salah, Rashi, Almiron, Martinelli, Mitro, Kane, Haaland, Captain, Saliba, Andres, Bueno, and rolling one transfer. Sorry for the inconvenience. No. It's fine. I would probably... See, I'm leaning more towards Kepa. Mainly because I don't trust Leicester to be able to keep a clean sheet against Brighton. Brighton are like... The chances of Chelsea keeping a clean sheet at this moment are slightly higher. Just because Liverpool are so out of form. Now, obviously, this is at home for Liverpool. So maybe they do score a goal. But then Brighton are more on form. Going against a Leicester team that is a bit shaky as well. So I don't mind starting Kepa and hoping that maybe he comes away with a clean sheet, save points and bonus points as well. It's a slight gamble, but it is what it is. Try and see how it goes, I guess. Midnight Mule, welcome. It's nice to see someone else who hasn't jumped to a Brighton midfielder. They are very good options, but so are the players that I already have. Fair enough. I mean, to be honest, I like the Brighton options, but I don't see a reason to drop any of my midfielders right now for a Brighton player. That's the only reason I haven't gone to a Brighton player. But if you had to go to a Brighton player, I still don't mind it because they are pretty good options as well. The temptation to wildcard in Bruno and Rashford. Don't press that wildcard button. You're going to need that wildcard button you're going to need that wildcard come Game Week 29. If you guys have your wildcard, save it because you're going to need it when it comes to Game Week 29. Because most likely there's going to be a huge blank in Game Week 28. And a lot of you guys are going to dead end your teams in Game Week 28 and then have to wildcard in Game Week 29. That is a possibility. So don't press the wildcard button. If you can fix your team with a hit, I would rather do that than press the wildcard button at the moment. Thanks, Ryan. No worries. Hopefully it works out. Now, to be honest, again, it's a tough decision between Ward and Kepa. Because both keepers are possible, like they could potentially lose their clean sheets. At the same time, both could also keep their clean sheets because you never know. McAllister for Bruno for a -4 hit. Ooh. No, probably not this game week. Because Brighton, again, like I said, Brighton, good team. The fixture away to Leicester is actually a good fixture. So I don't see the reason to actually get rid of McAllister. So I'll probably keep McAllister. Unless you mean you're going to take McAllister in. If you're going to bring McAllister in, I probably won't do that as well. Because, oh wait, when we're talking about Bruno, is this Bruno Jimenez or Bruno Fernandes? I'm assuming it's Bruno Fernandes. With Bruno Fernandes, I would keep because he has a double in 22 as well. So I wouldn't get rid. Also, people, hit the like button because the more people who like it and the more people who subscribe, the video gets found by a lot more people. So make sure to hit the like button while you can. Apart from that, I think the team, kind of happy with the team. We'll see how it goes, obviously. Won't be able to tell how everything ends up rolling, but it is what it is. We'll see. All right. Now, in terms of... Okay, looks like a lot of people are going for Haaland captaincy. Few KDBs, few Kanes. In terms of... Where is it? In terms of on Scout as well, Haaland, huge favorite. KDB, Salah, interestingly. Kane, Trippier. I mean, the amount of points that Trippier returns these days, I can see why he's like a favorite. As an option. In terms of points, I mean, I think Haaland is the favorite for expected points as well, followed by Salah, then Kane. In terms of... Actually, having said that, I should probably start looking for a bit of league team news as well. Dom, welcome. How are you doing? Welcome. My midfield is Odegaard, Almiron, Rodrigo, Saka, and McAllister. Okay. You think this is good? I might also sub in Tony for McAllister. Tony for McAllister is also not a bad move to do. Tempting. To be honest, Tony for McAllister is also not bad. You could probably try that as well. That could also pay off. It's a very close one. Actually, I would slightly prefer Tony just because of the set pieces, penalties, and just because he's the talisman for Brentford. I don't mind doing that as like starting Tony. Dom, no transfers made for me this week. I got Rashi captain last week. Noise. 82 points. But this week, deciding between De Bruyne and Haaland. Ooh. See, I've gone Haaland, but I can see why people would want to go KDB. Because now the thing is, it's very hard to tell whether KDB was rested or whether he was benched. I think he was rested. But... this week, I mean, I don't mind Haaland. Just because Wolves not that great defensively, attacking wise also beaten up and down. So I think Haaland's still a pretty good option. But well done on the captain call last week. Tin, how you doing? Welcome. Well done though. 82 points. Pretty good. I wonder if there were any other high scorers in the league as well. Guys, if you haven't joined the league, make sure to join the Football Chatbox Mini League. Where is it? Any high scorers? By the way, I need to mention this. The Football Chatbox panel team is managed by the guys you see on the podcast. It's doing an absolute madness. It's beating all of the members on the podcast. And it got 104 points last week from Fernandez and Mahrez. And it's now ranked 65k. It's and guys, this team, we've forgotten to make transfers as well. Like, sometimes, as you can see, 000, completely forgotten to make transfers. Right? But it's doing so well. Insane. And this week, the move for the podcast team was, the panel team was, we went Foden to Mitoma on this panel team. And we started Gabriel ahead of Shaw. And we started Darwin as well for the moment with Havertz first bench. But yeah, 104 points. So that team is doing an absolute madness. In terms of others, Captain Rodrigo might change it to Haaland, to be totally honest. Ooh, fair enough. A lot of differential players. Interesting. Who else got high points? High hundreds? Anyone hundreds? 90 from Raul, 95 from Steve. Any 100 club? 90 from Vignesh. Was the panel team the only one to do 100 this week? Surely not. Surely there are others who are hundreds. No, it's the panel team only. Damn. Okay. Interesting. So yeah. I'm still chasing for my first 100. I haven't got a single 100 this so far. Usually I've already got like 100 pointer at least. But I guess that's kind of telling the season I've had so far, where it's been pretty bad. I've usually never been at this rank at this time of the season in the last couple of years. Do I bring Danny Ings or Bamford? Is Isn't Ings reported to be getting a move elsewhere? To be honest, the problem with Bamford is injuries and whatnot. I don't mind maybe waiting for one more week to kind of figure it out. Ings, on the other hand, is he getting a move elsewhere? I don't really know. Very hard to tell with regards to that. If you can avoid both for one more week, I probably would rather do that. I mean, Danny Ings, the Newcastle and Chelsea and Tottenham. Nah, these fixtures don't look good. So I probably wouldn't do it. And also, he has a transfer room over his head. In terms of Bamford, with the problem for me for Bamford is the injuries, to be honest. The injuries haven't given me any confidence in that. So I probably, if you can avoid both of those for the moment, I mean, if you wanted me to ask pick one, it would probably be Bamford. Ings joined West Ham, did he? Did that move go through? Oh. Oh shit, he did. Oh yeah, he did. Okay, I'm looking at the completely wrong this thing. Now I see why. No, even then, I still don't like these fixtures. Newcastle, Chelsea, and Tottenham. Fixtures aren't looking great, to be honest. The chances of getting a goal, it's not easy. That's the only reason. I mean, the Everton fixture is good, right? The Everton fixture is good, but the other fixtures following that aren't the best. That's kind of why I'm not really convinced by it. Nunes likely to be benched apparently. Okay, let's have a look and see. Hold on, I'm trying to find it. How come I can't find it? It's not showing. I want to get rid of Martial. Same. I also want to get rid of Martial. I think he's going to get I think Martial is probably injured at this point, so I probably won't want to keep him. I'd probably get rid of. If you wanted to get rid of Martial, then I also don't mind the other Leeds attacker, just because of the price point, and he did get 2 goals. Obviously, this lad, I don't mind him as well, to be honest. Start White or Shaw. At Luke, how are you doing? Welcome. I'm leaning towards White just because home team. So I don't mind. I kind of prefer White at the moment, just because Arsenal are playing at home. Sell Mount or Reece James? At this moment, I would sell Reece James because I think you got a few weeks before Reece James is properly playing football. I know he's back in training, but it'll take a few weeks before he's actually properly fully fit and playing 60 plus minutes. Unless we get any rumors before the deadline that he's actually starting the game against Liverpool, I don't mind selling James at the moment. But you could also sell Mount and get in Odegaard if you wanted to, if you don't have Odegaard already. Salah or KDB, Aryan, is that for captaincy or is that to bring in? Or is that to sell? Which one is that? But if you're asking for me to pick one, I mean, both have been so bad that I don't know. I think maybe Salah at this moment, to be honest. Would you start Martial or Diop? Ooh. Ooh. To be honest, I don't mind starting Diop. Would I start Diop? Let me see. Hmm. Oh no, wait, Tottenham, no? No. I would start Martial. I wouldn't start Diop. Spurs will score. There is a chance that at least Martial starts. So I would probably start Martial. Do I play Foden? Can you transfer Foden out? Is that a possibility? Because I don't know if Foden will actually play. I am not convinced on Foden and Cancelo anymore. I feel like you might as well just cut your losses and move on. Now there is a chance that Foden actually starts this game, but at this point I'd probably like cut your losses and move on kind of thing. Should I start Almiron or Andreas? I would probably start Almiron. The game against Crystal Palace isn't too bad, and maybe he could get something. Now, Almiron's numbers have dropped, right? His attacking numbers have dropped. And you could say maybe with Bruno Jimenez out, it could be a bit more worse. But the game against Crystal Palace isn't too bad. Is Cancelo playing? $1 million question. Your guess is as good as mine at this point. I think he's fallen out of favor, so I've kind of sold him. Because I was like, I'm tired of playing Pep Roulette, so I went and sold him. But if you still have him and you want to keep him, I don't know, man. I'm not really convinced. I'd rather get Stones if you wanted a City defender than Cancelo at this point. Bench 3. Shaw, White, Mitro, Rodrigo, me, Rashford, Martinelli. I would bench Ben Me, Shaw. Wait. Can you bench both Shaw, White, and Ben Me? That's not possible, right? Surely not. Because then you will have only 2 defenders. So you need to start at least one other of those defenders, right? So that means I would bench Ben Me, Shaw. Ooh, and then it will be between Martinelli and Rashford. And in this specific situation, I am slightly leaning towards starting Rashford over Martinelli. Actually, you could probably bench Rodrigo as well. Like Shaw, me, and Rodrigo is also not a bad thing to bench. That's a tough one. Rokugu. Rishit, welcome. And Iron Man, welcome as well. Roll transfer and play Mitrovic. Get Mitoma for Mount for free and play him over Mitrovic. Do Trent to Botman for free. Option 1. Roll transfer and play Mitrovic. That's what I would do. Rishit. I'll probably do that. Should I start Almiron or Bruno and captain March? Ooh. Start Almiron or Bruno? Bruno means, I'm guessing this is Bruno Fernandes. I would start Bruno Fernandes. Would I captain March? Probably not. If you have Haaland, I'd probably still captain Haaland. I think the Wolves fixture is still a pretty good fixture. I think I'll move on to Mitoma or another Brighton midfielder next week and save this week. Yeah, that's not a bad move. If Almiron blanks again, okay. Yeah. You could probably do that. I don't mind that. Okay, I think I've answered everyone's questions. Make sure to hit the like button, guys. If you are new, also hit that subscribe button. And yeah, hopefully I've answered everyone's questions. Shout out to Mystical, to Aryan, Adam, Abdul, Dom, Rokugu, Rishit, Iron Man. Shout out to everyone. Hope everyone's having a good day. And also Matthew. Shout out to you, Julian as well, and Luke. The ones who were just recently here. Now, hopefully that kind of answers everyone's questions. In terms of league team news, let me have a look. There was rumors from Spinian Cop apparently, but let me try and find out if I can actually find any more information for y'all. Nothing at the moment. Tiger and Guna, how are you doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Any team news? Well, not from the reliable sources. I mean, Spinny and Cop apparently. Let's see. I'm trying to look for some team news if I can, but I can't really find anything completely reliable. Apart from the fact that Darwin Núñez is likely to be benched. Apart from that, I haven't found anything reliable. So maybe give it another 10 minutes and we'll probably get a bit more news. Saliba, any better options for defense? With what is this? You mean start? Wait, Aryan, you might want to rephrase the question. Getting Saliba in, or do you mean like getting for who you're getting in? I am not really sure. Apurv, welcome. Just feeling like gamble with Andres to Bailey. It's not the worst gamble to make, to be honest. It is not the worst gamble to make. And Tiger and Guna says, go the Gunners. Very confident. Should be a very good game. I'm looking forward to it. Bit disappointed that obviously Casemiro is going to be missing. But I'm still looking forward to the game. And let's see whether United can actually make it tough for Arsenal. Will be very interested to see. But should be a good game regardless. Andres to Bailey. I mean, it's not a bad move to make. Thoughts on lack of Casemiro and presence of Partey? The lack of Casemiro means that United's defense is going to be a bit more open, which is why I'm more leaning towards starting White over Shaw. That's one of the reasons I'm starting White over Shaw. The presence of Partey does improve Arsenal's defense. But having said that, Casemiro wasn't there the last time United beat Arsenal. But Arsenal didn't have Thomas Partey as well. And I think Arsenal's lack of Thomas Partey is a bit more felt for them compared to United's lack of Casemiro. Now, obviously, us not having Casemiro means we kind of had to start Fred. And I don't mind that because Fred usually is pretty alright. If we start McTominay, then we're in problem. But I would have ideally liked to have had Casemiro because I thought with Casemiro, the game would have been much more tighter and I would have been a bit more confident on United actually winning that game. Without him, I feel like it's going to be a bit more of a slightly open game in terms of United's defense won't be as secure, which means there'll be a bit more attacking happening and Arsenal should also find spaces at the back then. But yeah, it's going to be a very interesting one, but that's the reason why I'm starting White as well. Aryan says, thoughts on Saliba in for James, or are there any better options? And FPL Sidenet, Pete, how are you doing? Welcome. Friend of the show. Good luck for the game week. Thank you. Wish you the same as well. Thoughts on Saliba in for James? Not a bad move, but to be honest, if you wanted to get an Arsenal defender, I think Ben White is still better for the price point. Just because of the price point, I like him as an option compared to Saliba. Because Saliba is a bit more expensive right now. So Ben White is probably, in terms of price point, I like him more. Odegaard move is likely to have more room with lack of Casemiro, which is why I went and did, for a -4, I went and did Andreas Pereira to Odegaard. Also because Pete is getting all those Odegaard points as a differential right now. So I still want to get in on the action of those Odegaard points. As long as he's still a differential before he ends up becoming one of the most owned players in Gameweek 23. So I think Odegaard should get some space with no Casemiro in there, which is why I've gone and got him as well. Hopefully to get in on that action in terms of points. I've swapped Douglas Luiz in for Mitoma or March. What's your thoughts? Douglas Luiz in for Mitoma or March. I like Mitoma more because he was getting in good attacking positions. I know Solly March has got like quite a lot of points, but I do like Mitoma as an option. So Mitoma is not a bad option. Hopefully Arsenal versus United will be a good game. Hopefully. Yes, agreed. Salah or Cucurella for who? And also Mark, welcome. How are you doing? Salah and Cuckoo for who? The other Nordic midfield, indeed. Salah for... To be honest, I don't mind keeping Salah for this specific game against Chelsea. Cucurella, on the other hand, if you can swap him to either a Shaw, a Ben White, or maybe any other Arsenal defender you wanted. Trippier, if you don't have a Trippier already. You could do a Botman if you wanted to. Or a Stones. I prefer Stones at the moment slightly over Botman. Just because of that potential blank in 25. Or you could go completely punty like what I've done. And I've currently gone for a Forest defender. Just because of the fact that Forest's defense has slightly improved. But yeah, I would probably prefer maybe like those other options like Stones or Shaw, Ben White, Trippier, Botman. Salah, I think one more game week you can keep him, and then for next game week you can move him for Bruno Fernandes for the double in 22. Rashford purple patch over? I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say his purple patch is over. I just think that that last game United were very poor in the midfield. They were giving away a lot of passes. So that's the only thing. I think it was, and obviously Rashford was quiet as well, but they were losing a lot of passes in the midfield, just unnecessary passes given away and all of that. So I wouldn't say his purple patch is over. What's your overall points and rank? Well, rank is currently up there, unfortunately. The goal this season is still to get in top 100k, and I think it's possible. Overall points is currently on 1159. That's the overall points. Will you be watching the game? Yes, I will be getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning to watch that game. I will definitely be watching the game. Perisic or White? No, that's a very good question. If you were to play the fixture, I would say White. Sorry, I would say Perisic actually. And hope that Spurs decide to be a bit more solid this time and keep a clean sheet. So maybe Perisic, just because I think there will be goals in the United versus Arsenal fixture from both sides. So Perisic maybe for this week. Haaland, Kane, Greenwood to save money, or Haaland, Mitrovic, Tony. Both are good, but I do like Kane as an option. I think Kane is probably the second best premium in the game right now. I think Kane is the second best premium over KDB, over Salah. Kane is probably the second best. I don't know if you can do Haaland, Kane, and Noto. Bro, hold on. I'm just going to bring his name up because I still haven't figured out how to pronounce his name. Once I figure out how to pronounce his name, I'll be a bit more comfortable in saying it. But this guy is probably a better option than Greenwood at the moment. If you can afford him, then yeah. 2-1 Arsenal win, says Shubharan. We will see. Is Rico Lewis a serious option? With Pep Guardiola, it's hard to actually say who is a serious option. At this moment, the only two players I'm comfortable of saying that will start most games is Ederson and Haaland. Every other player in the Manchester City starting lineup, I cannot say whether they'll start or they'll get benched or what goes in Pep Guardiola's mind. I have no idea. So maybe Rico Lewis could be a decent option, but at the same time, he could potentially be a risky rotation option, which means it potentially locks you out of another City player if you wanted to get one. So you kind of have to see whether you want to take on that risk because of this price point being pretty good. If you didn't want 3 City players and you just wanted like a cheap City player, you could probably go for that. But yeah, just kind of keep that in mind. It's a bit hard to tell. Marco, how are you doing? Welcome. Start White or Shaw? $1 million question that everyone is having. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna put that as a poll for the last 15 minutes. because Haaland seems to be the favorite captaincy. So we're going to end this poll, and I'm going to start another poll because I want to see where everyone's going. Alright, poll is up. Hold on, there we go. New poll. Let me know what you guys are going. But between White and Shaw, I'm probably going to start White, or I'm starting White. But plus roll or Andres to Mitoma or March or Martial to Nato. Really like Brighton mids, but would mean 7 potential blanks in 25. Ooh. That is something you probably have to assess. 7 potential blanks in 25 is a bit of a problem. I wouldn't want you to get into that situation. So I wouldn't recommend that. Martial to Noto is not a bad move, to be honest. I actually don't mind doing that move. But if you can, I would probably start White and roll. I think that's a bit more of a sensible move. 3 strikers or 5 defenders? What's your choice? 3 strikers. Depends on who the strikers are, though. Depends on who the strikers are. But 3 strikers at the moment. Arsenal still hurting from United win at Old Trafford. Indeed, I would probably agree. And I think they would want to try and win this game. Ake versus Shaw this game week. I would go for Ake. I'm stuck on who should I start. Kepa against Liverpool or Ward against Brighton. Okay, here's the reason why I would start Kepa over Ward. And 2 reasons. Let's start with Ward first. Brighton, I think, are slightly more informed. The more informed team. And I can't see Brighton not scoring in this game. So I kind of think, okay, that means Ward is not going to keep his clean sheet. Even though Leicester at home, I think Brighton will score in this game. The Liverpool-Chelsea game, though, now that's a slightly more harder one. Liverpool versus Chelsea, because both teams have been so poor in the last few games, there's a high chance that actually Kepa manages to some miracle or the other, he keeps a clean sheet and he gets a few save points as well because he's kept a clean sheet. Otherwise, he's not keeping a clean sheet if he hasn't made save points. So he keeps a clean sheet, he gets your save points, and because he's got save points, he gets bonus points as well. Now that is an extreme possibility, but it's still a possibility. Whereas I am, in terms of Brighton versus Leicester, the chances of Leicester keeping a clean sheet are much more, I think the chances of Leicester keeping a clean sheet are much more lower than Chelsea keeping a clean sheet. I think so. Let me actually check on those odds. Here we go, probability data. I think that is, if I'm not mistaken, let's see. I'm just not convinced in Leicester's ability to keep a clean sheet against Brighton at the moment. But having said that, clean sheet data. Interestingly, Leicester do have slightly higher odds in terms of keeping a clean sheet compared to Chelsea. But yeah, 10% more odds. It's not great, but it is there. I don't know how Liverpool have higher chance of. Oh, I guess Liverpool have a higher chance because it's a home game. But I wouldn't put it like Liverpool's defense hasn't been any good per se, to be honest. But yeah, I don't know. That's kind of what I'm thinking. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. I feel like Brighton can score a few. Exactly, that's what I'm thinking. Thanks a lot, leaning towards rolling, but I'm at 500k and it seems too passive. It depends on how your team is looking like. If your team is looking good, to be honest, the gap between 100k and 500k isn't too big as well. So if your team is looking good, I don't mind rolling actually. 3-4, you can't play 3-4-4 Iron Man. That's not a possible formation. But you can play 3-5-2. 3-5-2 is a possible formation. 3-4-4 is not a possible formation. Unless you mean 3-4-3. Then it would depend on the personal. Oria, Burn or me. I have gone this week Dan Burn, but if you're asking to bring in a transfer, then it would depend on how many players you're going to have from those teams in Game Week 25. If you're going to have 6 players potentially blanking in 25, I don't mind Aurier then. But it depends on your makeup of your team. But Dan Burn is also pretty good. I think Dan Burn at the moment, but then I don't know how many Newcastle players and United players you'll potentially have. Play Andreas or Shaw. Ooh, tough one. I don't mind playing Andreas. We don't know whether he'll get penalties back from Mitrovic because Mitrovic has just been so bad at penalties recently. And obviously Spurs are struggling to freaking keep a clean sheet. Shaw does have high potential as well, but maybe Andres in this specific situation. As a Chelsea fan, I will be backing Kepa, but God, I'm hoping for a miracle. Yeah, fair enough. Chelsea attack is toothless, but the way Liverpool play, I would be surprised if Chelsea don't score at least 2. Fair enough. I can see that happening. Why is Newcastle so low in chances of clean sheet? Were they low? Where is Newcastle? 29%. The reason for that would be because they are the away team. I think that's why. I think this is like if you look at it, it favors the home teams first, then it favors the away teams. And out of the away teams, obviously Newcastle is up there. Like if you look at the rest of the teams at home, they're all pretty weak defensively. So it's favoring the home teams first. That's why. I think that's the reason for that, if I'm not mistaken. 433 Todd Bowley's son is here. We'll start 2 between Botman, Shaw and White. I would start Botman and White, Devin. Welcome, Devin. Also, welcome. Team looks good. 3 times double game week 22, 5 times double game week 23, 6 blank game week. Ooh. Maybe Notto is best. Just love Brighton. I mean, Brighton is pretty good option, to be honest. I actually don't mind Brighton. Sam says historical bias. Possible, but that's also possible. Bench 1. Cancelo, White, Perisic. Rate my team. Let's have a look at your team as well. In terms of benching, I would probably bench Cancelo at this point. Oh, yeah, I would probably bench Cancelo. Just because I don't know whether Cancelo is going to start or not. Meanwhile, Arte actually is doing really well. Almost in the top 1k, guys. It's an insane season. I would probably bench Cancelo because I don't know whether he's going to start or not, and I wouldn't take that risk anymore. So I'd probably bench Cancelo and start White. But you're having an amazing season, so well done. Hopefully you can get into that top 1k. Not sure about White or Shaw. I don't think a clean sheet will be kept by either, but I think Shaw has better goal contributions. I agree, Trishul. I agree. So if you wanted in that specific case to start Shaw, I don't mind starting Shaw. Start Ferguson or Havertz? Ooh. That's a tough one. Ferguson maybe? What? Probably Ferguson. Actually, do we have any team news? I don't think so. Let me see. We have no, I don't have any team news for you guys, unfortunately. I have no team news for you guys, sadly. Not any league team news, not PC. So I probably start Ferguson because Brighton are playing well. Chelsea, I don't know, man. It's so hard to predict Chelsea. Bowley saying Trossard transfer is unnecessary is up. Oh, did he? Where did he say that? Do you think Aurier is a good option for Mings or White? I have gone for Aurier just because I've seen apparently. So I was checking defensive stats, right? This is on Fantasy Football Scout. Look at that. Forest last 6 game weeks, 5th best defensive team in the league. Shocking, but it is true, which is why I've gone for Aurier at the moment to start over Shaw. But yeah, I think Aurier is a pretty good option. 10 minutes to go, says Shubharan. Indeed, 7 minutes to go at this point, to be honest. Start Ward or Kepa? I am leaning slightly towards Kepa, just because of the fact that I think Brighton has a higher chance of scoring against Leicester at this moment. Rolling transfer with win to start Havertz or Mount. Ooh. I would probably go Mount. Maybe Mount. Just because of that extra point, but I can see the reason for starting Havertz as well. I mean, Mount has been poor, but I don't mind starting Mount in this specific situation. It's a tough one on that one. Haaland, Kane, Greenwood for a -4 or Haaland, Mitro, Greenwood. Haaland, Kane, Greenwood. I would go Haaland, Kane, Greenwood. I think Kane is the second best this thing. Premium in the game. Andreas or Shaw? I think Andreas, but I like Shaw as an option as well. The only thing is I think both Arsenal and United will score, which means clean sheets are gone. Then you're hoping on attacking returns. Go with the attacker in this specific one. So Andreas maybe, but it's a tough one on that one, to be honest. Andreas in this specific situation. Cancelo or Aurier to start? Well, we know Aurier is going to play. In terms of Cancelo, I have no idea whether he's going to play or not. In terms of the fixture, City have the better fixture, but I just don't know if Cancelo is going to start or not. That's the only problem. So at the moment I'm leaning towards Aurier, but yeah, that's the only problem. Bowley went on a Discord chat after London Derby where he mentioned, oh my god, Todd Bowley, man. Haaland, Kane, Tony, whom to cap? Haaland. Roshan, how are you doing? Guys, 5 minutes to go. Make sure to set your teams. Yes. Don't forget to set your teams. Roshan, how are you doing? Welcome. Wow, what is Todd Bowley even doing on Discord chats and Twitter spaces and all? I don't even know. But anyways, 5 minutes to go. Make your changes. Yes, people, make your changes. And I can't believe... Oh... We're starting between White and Shaw. 50% White, 18% Shaw, 23% both, and 9% neither. Interesting. Make sure to hit the like button. If you're new, please do subscribe. Do hit the subscribe button because it helps the channel by trying to get to 500 subs. So make sure you hit the subscribe button. Ward or Pope? I would go Pope in goal. Yes. Go for Nick Pope. Newcastle are a better team than Leicester at this point. So go for Nick Pope. Edison, Cancelo, Trippier, me, Shaw, KDB, Martinelli, Odegaard, Rashford, Haaland, Tony. Bench is Ward, Mbeumo, Almiron, and Bueno. I would probably put Almiron as first sub, but the rest of your team looks good, to be honest. Haaland it is then? Yes, indeed. When are you moving out Martial? Next week. I'm moving him out next week. It's just that this week I wanted Odegaard, so I couldn't move out Martial. But Martial is most likely moving out next week. Yes. Martial out for Noto, if I'm not the lead striker, right? Martial out for the lead striker, and Almiron to Bruno Fernandes. Not Almiron, sorry. KDB to Bruno Fernandes is the plan. That's the plan for next week. For Game Week 22, not next week, but yeah, Game Week 22. Todd is cooking. I know, right? Todd is cooking. I don't know what he's cooking, but he's cooking. Also, Pete, are you confident about the game? What are your thoughts about Chelsea versus Liverpool? Do you think Chelsea can get a result? Mings or Rodrigo? Oh, actually, now that Mings is at West Ham. Oh no, sorry, this is Minks. What am I talking? Aston Villa. Rodrigo. I always prefer to go with the attacker over the defender in most cases, except for Trippier. Trippier is an exception. Mount to Odegaard. Yeah, that's not a bad move. I like Odegaard. I think Odegaard is someone you probably want to get in eventually, and probably one of the best players in the league right now. So Odegaard, yes, for me, Odegaard. United versus Arsenal has a draw written all over it. That is a possibility. It's just that I don't think it's a 0-0 draw. I think there's more chance of a 1-1. There's more chance of a goal scoring draw. Chelsea versus Liverpool draw 0-0. That is a possibility. But at the same time, there's a possibility that both teams can score. I did Almiron to Odegaard. Fair enough. I was actually thinking of that move. It's not a bad move. Hopeful but not optimistic of a Chelsea win. Excited to see Murdick torch TA, or TA is going to have a game of his life. He'll have to be on point or he's going to get roasted. I can see that happening. So we'll see how TA goes against Mudrik. I need to pronounce him correctly as well. Ward or Kepa? I slightly prefer Kepa at the moment. You surely have Kepa. Man, Iron Man is completely focused on the Kepa. To be honest, I can see the clean sheet happening, guys. I wouldn't put it past it. I mean, I wouldn't put past it Chelsea keeping a clean sheet against Liverpool. But at the same time, they could both score. It's just one of those games, you know. Alright, people, 2 minutes to go. Set your teams in terms of team news. I unfortunately don't think I was able to find... Oh! Twitter rumors suggesting Nunes and Trent don't start. Let me bring this up for you guys in the last 2 minutes to make everyone panic, but don't panic. Please don't panic. Apparently. But yeah, I don't know whether that's true or not. If that was true, that means I kind of can see why Trent won't start. But yeah. Hope White, Trippier, Oreo, Burn or Botman. Oh, actually, Burn. Dan Burn. More bonus point potential. Dan Burn. That's not a bad team, Tiger and Guna. Not a bad team indeed. Mbuemo is the one you probably want to get rid, but apart from that, the rest are good. A minute to go. Yes, I have Pope. Okay, so you don't have to worry. If you have a Pope, start Pope. A minute to go. Everyone set your teams. Deadline has now passed. Alright, people, deadline is done. Which means good luck to you all. This was my team. So good luck to everyone. Hopefully, you guys can get results. I hope everyone gets green arrows. Enjoy the football. And it's done. Yes, it is done. Deadline has passed. Enjoy the football. Looking forward to the Chelsea versus Liverpool game. Hopefully everyone gets green arrows. I will see you all for maybe on Monday we might do like a reaction video, something like that. Just a quick reaction, short reaction live stream. Maybe on Monday, we'll see. Right? I'm not really sure yet, but I'm thinking of probably doing stuff like that. Just like a quick reaction after the game week is done, just to see. So yeah, having said all of that, thank you all for joining me and keeping me company. Wish you all good luck for the game week, and also enjoy the weekend, enjoy the football, and I will see you all next week for more content. Thank you all for watching. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe. Iron Man got 95 points and is looking for more of the same this week as well. Having said all of that, shout out to Iron Man, Tiger and Gunnar, Sam, FPL SideNet, Aryan, Shubharan Sen, Roshan, Gabriel, Nishal, David, Zachariah, Devin, Dom, who else? Mark, Apurv, and everyone else who was in the chat. I unfortunately can't scroll up, but good luck everyone. Wish you all the best, and I will see you all next week. Make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button as well, and thank you all for watching. I'll see you all later. Peace out everyone.
Walking alone, the streets are empty. The only thing I can see is my own silhouette. I'm getting stronger, step by step.